Imagine a pill that can make you feel unstoppable, a pill that sharpens your focus, erases fatigue, and floods your veins with energy. For decades, that pill has been amphetamines, chemicals that powered soldiers, students, truck drivers, and musicians. But behind the rush lies a story of addiction, health crises, and consequences few see coming. Welcome to the world of amphetamines. If you're ready to dive deep into history, psychology, and the dangers of this powerful drug, hit like, subscribe, and let's begin. Amphetamines were first synthesized in 1887 by a Romanian chemist named Lazar Edeleanu. At first, it was just another laboratory compound, forgotten for decades. But in the 1920s, scientists rediscovered it, experimenting with it as a treatment for asthma and nasal congestion. What they found was more than a decongestant. It was a chemical that erased fatigue, sharpened focus, and elevated mood. When World War II erupted, amphetamines became weapons of war. Soldiers on all sides were issued pills. German troops used methamphetamine tablets called Pervitin, while Allied forces carried Benzedrine. These pills kept men awake for days, marching, flying, and fighting far beyond normal limits. But the crashes, paranoia, and breakdowns that followed were often hidden. After the war, the pills returned home, fueling civilian life. Truck drivers on long hauls, students cramming for exams, musicians powering through marathon performances. By the 1950s, amphetamines were everywhere. What makes amphetamines feel so powerful? The secret is in the brain. Amphetamines hijack the dopamine and norepinephrine systems, the chemicals that control reward, motivation, and alertness. Suddenly, fatigue disappears. Confidence spikes. Ordinary tasks feel urgent and thrilling. But there's a cost. The more you push those systems, the more they burn out, leaving behind exhaustion, depression, and dependence. By the 1960s, the dangers became harder to ignore. Doctors reported cases of psychosis, heart problems, and addiction. Yet amphetamines remained widely available. Beat poets, jazz musicians, and later punk rockers leaned on them for bursts of creativity, only to spiral into paranoia and collapse. Amphetamines had crossed from medicine into culture, and the fallout was only beginning. We've seen how amphetamines were discovered, celebrated, and spread. But why do people keep reaching for them, even knowing the risks? In Part 2, we'll explore the psychology of the high and the terrifying descent into addiction. The appeal of amphetamines is simple. They promise energy, focus, and productivity. Students take them to power through exams. Workers take them to survive grueling shifts. Athletes feel faster, stronger, and those with social anxiety feel suddenly confident and alive. Unlike many drugs, amphetamines don't just relax, they supercharge. In a society obsessed with speed and success, they fit like a dangerous puzzle piece. Amphetamines don't just boost energy, they change identity. Users often describe feeling like the best version of themselves, sharper, stronger, unstoppable. But once the drug wears off, the world feels gray and empty. The contrast drives users back again and again. The cycle of amphetamine addiction is brutal. 1. The high, euphoria, focus, energy. 2. The crash, exhaustion, irritability, depression. 3. The craving, desperate need to feel good again. 4. The reuse, another pill, another hit. Tolerance builds quickly. The same dose that once worked barely scratches the surface. Users chase the original high, escalating into dangerous amounts. Long-term amphetamine use destroys both body and mind. Physically, it brings rapid heartbeat, high blood pressure, strokes, weight loss, and the infamous meth mouth. Psychologically, it fuels anxiety, paranoia, aggression, and psychosis. Some users hallucinate voices, shadows, or imaginary threats. Others sink into crushing depression. History is full of stories of amphetamine highs and crashes. Musicians in the 1960s fueled tours with speed, but collapsed behind the scenes. Today, prescription stimulants like Adderall and Dexedrine are misused on college campuses, seen as harmless, study drugs. But dependence and anxiety are common outcomes. Quick question: if you were offered a pill that gave you superhuman focus but risked your health, would you take it? Drop your answer in the comments. At first, amphetamines seem like tools, but slowly they take control, reshaping identity and rewriting the brain. In Part 3, we'll explore the long-term fallout and the fight for recovery. Prolonged amphetamine use leaves scars. Dopamine pathways become blunted, leaving long-term problems with memory, motivation, and emotion. Mental illness lingers: depression, anxiety, psychosis. Physically, the body weakens: heart disease, strokes, immune breakdown. The brain can heal, but recovery is slow, sometimes partial, sometimes never complete. The fallout spreads beyond individuals. Families collapse under the weight of paranoia and aggression. Communities face crime, accidents, and overloaded hospitals. Entire industries, from trucking to sports, wrestle with drug-related scandals. What began as a simple stimulant now costs societies billions. In the 1970s, governments cracked down, prescriptions tightened, dealers were targeted, but prohibition didn't kill demand. It fueled the underground. Methamphetamine labs sprouted, producing cheap, potent drugs. From rural America to Southeast Asia, meth epidemics grew. Even today, meth remains one of the most devastating substances on Earth. Yet recovery is possible. Former users describe rebuilding their lives through therapy, support groups, and persistence. Cravings last years, but with support, the brain slowly rewires. Recovery is not just about quitting the drug. It's about rebuilding identity and finding purpose without chemicals. The story of amphetamines is more than a drug tale. It reveals something about us: our hunger for speed, energy, and success. Amphetamines promised to make us superhuman, but they showed us how fragile we truly are. Every high has a cost, and with amphetamines, the bill often comes due in ways you can't imagine. If you found this video eye-opening, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this story. Together, let's spread awareness.